Hello, everybody, anybody that's out there. This is a really new experience for me, and I'd just like to start off by thanking Roz and Simon for the opportunity to do it through the holding cell, and to thank Roz in particular for being so patient with all my emails going, what button do I press? She was very patient with me. Um, I'd like to start off, I suppose, this evening. It's just so strange to be so isolated from everyone. And it's been a really horrible time for so many people, for everyone. And it has made me think, I suppose, that it feels like a time of grief, um, where you just can't feel as if you can't move forward, you can't do anything. So I wanted to start off by just reading this very small poem that I wrote at a time of kind of personal grief when my mother was very ill and dying. It's a very tiny little poem. It's just called Ache. When nothing helps, when the road ahead cannot be measured, there is nothing to be done but to keep walking one foot after the other. And I kind of think that's what we are all having to do at the moment, even though we can't see the way ahead. Just put one foot in front of the other. The second poem I'd like to read. I'm sure you will have noticed that on Facebook and Twitter, there's a trend at the moment for everybody putting on photographs of when they were 20. So when I was looking at what to read tonight, I came across this poem, which refers to coming across a photograph of when I was 20. When I wrote the poem, it refers to 20 years later. It's now kind of 40 plus years later, but the poem is just called Students in Athens. In a cool square out of the main city swelter, beneath the shade of an olive tree, a young man leans back in his chair. He drains his cup of thick, dark coffee, then lights a cigarette. He is content as a cat. The young woman with him raises a camera. A year from now, when they are no longer lovers, she will think of that momentary eternity, the leaves of the olive tree dripping shadows across the white tablecloth, the secret knowledge of her body touched only by him and the sun, bitter and sweet. 20 years from now, she'll come across the photograph at the back of a drawer and be taken back at how young they were. She'll feel a restlessness and wonder whatever became of them. I looked at the photograph again today, of island hopping in the Greek islands. Doing this is a great opportunity. I've been slobbing around in jeans and old jumpers and things, so it's a lovely excuse to kind of stick on a bit of lippy. And I took the kitchen scissors to my fringe so I could see out from in below it. However, I find that I keep hearing about people clearing out their houses and cleaning their ovens and doing all sorts of things like that. I haven't got to that point yet. So I thought I'd read this poem, which is called No Domestic Goddess. I've no desire to make chutney or learn how to crochet or veil myself to keep bees. Don't want to bake cupcakes, sew my own dresses, or handcraft Christmas decorations. It's cobwebs festoon my ceilings. Food tastes best when someone else has cooked it. I haven't ironed since 1999. I grow no useful stuff, no carrots, turnips, or potatoes. I plant blousy, gladiola, fuchsia, amaryllis, rose. I prefer not to be responsible for anything, though I like to scatter seed for birds who come and sing and go to suit themselves. And if you notice behind me, there's an amaryllis blooming even as we speak. Oh, there's Bernadette. Hi, Bernadette. Lovely to see you here. Or welcome Thanks for joining me. The next poem I'd like to read is, the other thing I've found is just how much comfort, I suppose it's been something I've always been aware of, but how much comfort there is in nature. Um, and so many people at the moment are taking so much comfort from nature and the fact that spring is arriving as if nothing was awry, um, enjoying the plants and the flowers and the little bit of sun that we've been having. And this next poem was written at a time when the news at that time seemed very overwhelming. And I suppose it's about how escaping into nature can be a very healing thing to do. It's called The Urn Rushes Through Me. A great clean flood to rinse away the whole of the tired, wicked world. A heron guards the dreaming ivory gates. My eyes have turned the blue of damselfly, red gilled perch and silver trout swim through the ventricles of my heart, and swallows rise from my throat, stitching my thoughts to the sky. It is as if nothing bad is happening anywhere, as if everything in the garden is lovely. Next poem I'd like to read. I'm sitting in my kitchen, at my kitchen table, and the kitchen table is where I spend a lot of time sitting, and I do a lot of writing here at the kitchen table. And I'm really lucky because just out the window there's a view of fields and hedges, and I thought I'd read a couple of poems that were kind of inspired by the view from the window. This first one is called Pray. This summer passed, day after day. I watched the buzzard rise from her stand of trees to hunt, watched her describe her wide, effortless circles as a wheel set in motion turns. This autumn night, she has jarred silently above my sleep, so that now at 4 a.m. I lie awake beneath her dream, and the small, secretive animal of self trembles. I'll just read a couple more. This next one again, just outside my window here, I have a beautiful stone Buddha that was given to me many years ago now by a very good friend, Joe Egan. And he came from Thailand originally, my Buddha. And this poem is just called Stone. His companions, a little cast iron flying pig with stumpy wings and a brass dragonfly. For 12 years, Buddha has sat, eyes closed, legs crossed, hands held cup-shape in his lap. I have watched him through this time, most patient and unperturbed of creatures in this stone incarnation. A perfect spring perch for the crows who carry twigs and horsehair in their beaks, rest on him a moment before their onward lift to build their chimney nests. He doesn't mind a white shit crown that runs down his face across his eyelids. Rain will wash it off again. Winter snowfalls cap his head and cape his shoulders, gather on his thighs. He does not shiver shift beneath. Summer sweet peas curl their tendrils round his feet. Mossy autumn furs him green among the fallen leaves, and he is neither disturbed nor pleased, seated outside my kitchen window, whilst inside I grow less steady. Like many other people, I found myself being really unable to write anything much at all over these last weeks. Big project that I had on, I haven't been able to think about it. To a large extent, it seems irrelevant. It's very hard to find the words for anything, I think, at the moment. I've written a couple of tiny little pieces which I'll finish off with now. The first one, it just came from a phrase that I heard. A friend had sent me an article to read, and it came from a phrase, and I just took the phrase and kind of ran with it. So the title is a really long title. It's Title is Today I Made of Myself a Hollow Bone, and Through Me Has Been Flowing. A wren song, a lucky charm, a longing, a flirtation, a dreamless sleep. A smile, a wish, a hope, a frisson, the sweetest peach. A glance, a kindness, a largesse, a spider web, a remembering and a forgetting. A fire lit, a fire quenched, a great drowning, a necklace of pearls, a straight answer, a kiss, a bliss, a new beyond, a knowing and unknowing. And I'll just finish off with another tiny little poem, um, which I posted originally on the Daedalus postcard poem site, and was lucky enough to have it chosen to be one of the postcard poems. And again, this little poem just came from a chance remark that my husband made. And the poem is called, I have my prop here ready for the poem. It's So What If We Break Them? We are using the good glasses, cut crystal, delicate flutes, the ones with the snake on the stem bought in our early heady days. Glasses that don't usually get brought out except for special occasions. Cheers. Thank you very much for listening. And I really enjoyed my first attempt at an online live reading. Here's to you all. Thank you all for listening. And maybe see you again sometime. Thank you.